Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Tristan Barrocks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited that you have chosen to join me for another episode of Cinecut, where we will be talking about one lighting setup for photography to get photos like this, and like this, and like that, using something like this. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's go! Woo! So I was on my way to the studio and a friend of mine, Greg Smith, hit me up and he wanted to get some professional headshots done. Did maybe about 2 or 3 months ago some headshots for him. I had all my lighting set up and it was great. I had my strobe lights. I actually had the Barrocks A7III AD, I believe it was, and it was working out perfectly fine. I had a hair light. Everything was rocking and rolling. But for this particular shoot, when he reached out to me, I was already on my way down to the studio and I didn't have any of that lighting. I only had my Aperture 120D and my giant 7-foot umbrella, which is lighting me right now. And also I had some natural lighting. So if you look over to the left or to the right, I have some windows with my gray background, and that's all I had in order to light him up. You don't necessarily need to have a ton of lighting, you just need to have the right lighting and use it effectively. I'm gonna bring Greg in here right now. Greg, say hi, Greg.
Hey.
This is my friend. He's a model, he's for hire, he does acting, all that good stuff. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a flat or a V flat or a bounce. There are a lot of different words for it. I call it a bounce, and it's painted black on one side and, as you can see, white on the other. The reason for that is the black is negative bounce or negative space, meaning when light hits the black area of this, the light doesn't bounce back with as much intensity on your face or on the subject. So if you want to cut down the light that bounces off of this particular flat, then you want to use the negative space. But if you want to use this flat as a way to actually fill the subject up and fill some of the shadows up, you want to use the white side, because the white side will actually not suck and dampen the light. It's actually going to use the light and bounce the light back onto the subject. Whereas the black would suck the light up. In this particular setup with Greg, my talent right here, I wanted to actually not fill him up too much because I already have this giant umbrella in front of us. It's very much like a beauty dish, a giant beauty dish with a diffusion cloth on top of it. So it already gives this nice, beautiful, diffused look. I didn't want to add more light on the sides because I felt like that would make him look too flat and it wouldn't give dimension to his face. So instead of having the white side, the positive flat side, I actually switched it around and I used the negative side, okay? And not only did I do it on just our right side, I actually brought in another one on the left side. So I'm really bringing this in close just so you can see what kind of lighting, we're getting here, right? So again, we're getting a little bit more shadows on his face. Could you look right at the camera here? Perfect. There you go, just step back a bit. I know you're a little bit taller than me, but God, right? So we can have a little bit more dimension coming more at the key parts of his face. This is what I kind of call the angel. This is almost like angel lighting. So we have lighting right on his forehead, lighting on his nose, lighting on his cheekbones, lighting on his mouth area, on his cheeks, again, his eyes. So again, it focuses or allows the viewer to focus more on his face here instead of lighting up all the sides of his ears and his body and whatever else. I find it to have a little bit more dimension. I would love to know what you think. If you wanted to see how it looks where we're using the positive side of the bounce, then let's try that. So I'm gonna turn this around. And now you see him looking very dapper, right? And again, it just, instead of it being super dark, there's a little bit more definition that we can see on his face. But again, it makes his face a little bit more flatter, right? So there's not as much drama to the image. And for me, I don't find it to be as interesting. I find it to be a little bit more cleaner. Yes, it does look a lot more cleaner, but it makes the front of his face look slightly flatter. So again, just to show you the difference, I'm gonna keep this side positive, I'm gonna keep this side, turn this side negative, and you can see the difference. Step right in the middle, Greg. So as you can see, on this side, it's a little bit more dramatic, but it also allows his eyes to pop out a little bit more and his main features pop out a little bit more. The positive board over here, it bounces the light a little bit more, so it fills them up a bit more. So if you want to get that airy sort of look, you want to get that sort of cleaner, flatter type of look, which I don't really love that photography, but it's neither here nor there, then this is the way that you would bounce it on this side. So it's really up to you. In this particular lighting situation, I really wanted to get a little more dramatic on the face. Because this is a headshot, I wanted people to focus on his face, on his facial expression, his look, his features, all of that sort of stuff. I wouldn't necessarily put these bounces so close to the talent, like they're really, really close here, and I can see them in the actual image, which is not what I want to do. I'm actually going to push them out until they go to the outer parts of frame. The other thing that I'm going to do is another trick that I noticed in this particular lighting situation. Remember, I only have one light. So right now we have one light kind of protruding and hitting our subject from the front. But what if we wanted to add a little bit of highlights on either side and we don't have any extra light? How do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you that now, once I push these bounces out of the way. So check this out. So now look what we have here. Look what we have here. We have our talent again. We're still using the bounces, right, to reduce the amount of light that hits the side of his face. But because I have these two windows in the background that are not being blocked by anything, I can actually create a little bit of a highlight on the side of his face. So right now I have a highlight right here and a highlight right here, and it's coming from these two windows. And I can intensify that if I wanted to too. So I can pull this out, I can open this up a little bit more, right? I can open up this side over here. And what it's doing is the light, because it's so harsh, it's actually hitting him from either side and hitting him and giving him a little bit of a rim, a little bit of rim lighting, which is kind of cool. And I honestly did that by mistake. I really didn't even know what I was doing. No, I knew what I was doing. I saw the look. It worked out really well. And here are some of the shots that we got with this lighting. Check this out. So what do you guys think about those shots that I got? It was one continuous Aperture 120D light, two windows on either side of my background, and then two bounces. Again, you could use cardboard that you painted black. You can use, these are styrofoam boards that are painted black on one side and white on the other. These are the images that I got from it. It's pretty dope. I edited them and corrected them in Lightroom, and I think they look pretty good. Look at these shots in comparison to the shots that I had with the 2 and 3 point lighting setups. And let me know what your thoughts are. Well, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something and had fun doing it as well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Until the next time, peace. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel, because it is creating dope content that I hope is helping you become a dope digital storyteller. Until the next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.